Howlers.
Welcome, everybody, to Fade to Obsidian, your Red Rising podcast of spaceships, relationships, and death. So much death as we work our way through the series, just talking about characters who have died. I am Skipper, joined as always by Crescent, and joined this week by Epoch. Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome on for your
Thanks
very
for
first
joining
time.
us. Yeah.
I'm very excited for my first time. I hope it's definitely not the last. I know that for a fact. But yeah.
It'll be
Cool.
great. This is everyone's disclaimer or warning that we are talking spoilers, definitely for Morningstar, but I would say 100% we are going to talk all the way to the end of Lightbringer. So if you have not finished Lightbringer, go do that and then return to us, hoping they have left, as we this week are talking about Ragnar. Oh, the saddest.
Gentle giant.
I think the saddest of the deaths.
Yeah.
At this point, for sure.
At this point, yes.
Yeah. So
for
far,
the first trilogy.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%. It's the saddest of the first trilogy. 100%. Yeah. And probably the best written of the deaths.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Closure.
I reread those two chapters just this morning to that bit to kind of get back into it, and I was like, oh man,
it's so hard. Yeah. Before we jump into it, who are you?
Who am I?
Why do you have your howler name, and what are you drinking?
Okay, so I'm doing the ADHD thing where I have like 3 drinks at once. So I have like one for energy, one that's fun, and one that's for hydration. So I have coffee. I have this like homemade like lemonade concoction. It's basically like lime and lemon simple syrup and sparkling water and coffee, because it's early this time, so we don't have no like adult drinks, right? Yeah. And who am I? How did I get my my howler name? I thought you guys were going to give me like a scented howler name, because you know the perfume stuff, but you didn't, and you took me for a little loop surprise, and I really like that. I believe it was something to do with the many lives that I have lived, like a cat. And as epochs. So I'm in whatever epoch I'm in right now, and we'll see what happens next. So it was very sweet, actually. It was a really sweet naming. I liked it.
Nice. That's awesome. I love that. Crescent, you made a face. What are you drinking this morning?
I have coffee. It's 7 a.m. But also, for our Norse theme, I have grape mead.
Grape mead.
Ooh.
Yeah. One of my friends gave it to me for fixing their air conditioning.
Great.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it still have honey in it? Because it's like typically it's honey, or is it grape? Is it grape and honey, or just grape?
Mm-hmm. It's grape and honey, and it's amazing. Apparently.
All right.
Okay,
cool.
Nice. All right. I just have coffee. It's 9 a.m. here. I should have put something in it, but I didn't. So it's fine.
It's not
it's
too
coffee.
late.
It's
Spike
not
it next
too
time.
late. I was gonna say sometimes I just have bottles.
Here's the Baileys.
Around me. No, do love Baileys. It's my favorite. All right, well, let's jump into our big friendly giant.
Yeah.
Starting with, what is everybody's feelings to him when he's alive? I feel like we know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask the question anyway. How did we all feel the first time reading through and being, meeting Ragnar?
For me, it was really exciting to meet the Obsidians and Ragnar in general, because I live in Iceland, and so like a lot of these motifs are like super Icelandic, and I was like, oh, and like Ragnar is just like a name that I know, right? Like a lot of their names are just like, oh yeah, that's a real name. So it's kind of cool to see where he was pulling that stuff from culturally. And then like, how do you not fall in love with him like immediately, right? When he like gives him, I love that moment when he like offers him his stains, and Severo's like, accept it now before it changes his mind. So it's like, how do you not, like in that first interaction, just even like that whole scene, how do you not fall in love with it immediately? I don't know how.
Yeah. I agree with you that he's just well, and it just like he immediately nicknames Darrow. He's like Godchild. Like he's like, yeah, all right. Not only have I bought into this, but like, here's your new cool nickname that I've given you. Yeah.
Does he stop calling him that eventually? He does, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, pretty much immediately.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I fucking love Ragnar. When he throws a table at Severo.
Yeah.
He's just like he's the right mix of like deeply serious and so unserious.
Yeah.
I think one of the greatest tragedies of his character is that we don't get the Pax and Ragnar buddy comedy that we were promised.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, right.
Oh my god.
Could you imagine them in battle? It'd be the funniest. That was so funny.
Just
it's that
one extremely loud, one dead silent.
Yeah.
Think about that all the time.
I know.
Like it's not that the hat robbed me of Pax, is that it robbed me of those scenes.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite things about Ragnar is, I mean, and this is for the audio, or sorry, the not audio, the physical readers of the book, is that he has the bold lines. So you immediately are like, which was an inside joke with
happening?
Pierce and his editor at the time. Pierce wrote it and like expected Mike Braff to be like, haha, so funny, I've taken it all out. And Mike Braff went, no, that can stay. That's great.
That's amazing.
It's perfectly.
Yeah. And then, which then echoes later on, we see Fa shows up. And that's this moment where you're like, who else gets bold? That was always my favorite as you're reading it. And you're like, why is there bold? Like, who is this guy? Like, that's your immediate reaction. It's like, why is his lines in bold? Like, what a movie.
But I love that fancy typeface.
Yeah.
I love that Fa's bold is not real. Like he removes his thing and then it's just like, it's like, no. There's only one character whose voice is like actually booming and deserving of bold.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I love it. All right, well, let's work through our little scenes with him. We already mentioned we meet him while they're taking, is it what becomes the Pax, right?
And
we get him and Orion in like the same scene, which is
that's
great.
Right. Dude, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have this thing that like, so that scene and then kind of the stuff that follows, and I have this hill that I will die upon. Okay. And why I think Ragnar is like so important. And that is that like Darrow has no choices. He only makes like maybe one or two choices purely for himself. Everything is for the Rising or for EO or for something else. And the only choice he makes for himself is like, it's Mustang, right? Like that's a thing that he chooses for himself. And so what I find really particularly interesting about Ragnar is that he is the flip side of that. Darrow gives him choices the whole way along. And he does it for other characters too, but like it's most prominent in Ragnar. He's like, you can come along with me if you want, or you don't have to. You can take the razor, or you don't have to. Like it's up to you. And that, like, that juxtaposition, I think makes that loss so much harder. Because I wonder what Darrow would have learned about choices and about freedom from Ragnar had we had him for longer.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my big question. What would we have learned? What would Darrow have learned?
Yeah, that's a great point of, I don't know. The choice, you're right. The choices he makes with Ragnar even opens up the Rising of this is for everybody. We're not just forcing you to do things, which we then later see some struggle with the Obsidians in the second half of like, oh, are you just using us? Like Sephi's kind of got this thing, but with Ragnar and Orion, it's like, are you gonna come with me or are you not? Like, what's happening here? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very much gone from. He's taken a person who essentially has had no choice in literally anything for his entire life, and just gone, what do you want?
Yep.
And then he responds with, what is want? I don't know that.
Yeah. forgot about that. Like, what a devastating thing to not understand that concept.
Yeah. I had absolutely forgot that point. And that, I think, shows the low colors and their situation to a T, that they have no idea that they can desire things, so to speak, or at least like what the concept is. It's just, this is what the golds have told me. Because we know he does like work for pinks and like all of that, but I don't think that's true wanton desire. Like, I don't think the concept of his freedom even comes like, he doesn't think he would ever get it, so why would you ever dream of it? It's crazy. Yeah.
And he even, like, you know, when they headed up to the spires, and Darrow kind of starts to catch on to the fact that Ragnar has like a plan that he's not aware of. You know, there's a moment where Darrow says something like he oversteps. You're like, "Ooh, like you've given him the freedom, but you're also like you still expect something of him." There's a really that's I think it's a really interesting moment for Darrow to kind of, it's like, you know, the warlord, the commander, the overstepping. Like where does that how does he balance giving people that freedom, but also like you have to have some order if you're gonna just, like, go send people into war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't we can't have full, you know,
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm working with, the commune kind of no leaders. It's you always have to. In every single society, someone has to sit and make at least one decision for the group, but Darrow does, I think, a great job of using Ragnar, of like showing the difference of this is what it could be, especially when he hands the razor. Right? It's like, let's break this down. If truly we are all equal, then you should be using the weapons of the golds, and let's break this all down. Which
That's
then
such a
is
powerful moment. It's so powerful when
Oh
oh
yeah.
my god. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he's literally been raised from birth to essentially think that this weapon is not for mortal hands, and here you have been gifted it because you deserve it. Like, to essentially be told that the gods are among you and you are one of them.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
moment, I think, plays throughout the rest of the series, right?
Mhm.
They put him up like a deity. And there's like a lot of really interesting stuff about religion in this, and we can get to that after the death stuff, because I think it's really, really interesting. But you see the repercussions of that moment, I think, for throughout the rest of the series in that kind of religious, godlike way.
Yeah. I was going to say, even in that moment with Thistle, like throwing her tantrum, and that's the breaking point where I think us as the readers learn. I think the Thistle throwing the tantrum is what drives home to us readers of how important this is, because I think we would have been like, okay, they've just never used it before, all right, rather than like Thistle being like, holy like, you can't be doing this, is like, oh, this is going to be the split. And then what other decisions is Darrow gonna make that will continue to split, of like, no, you've taken this too far. But I think you're right as well, of like how it lives on forever, of everyone knowing that like Ragnar was the first to use a razor, and like this great moment of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. There's so many things that Ragnar does that you're just like, oh, like the first of everything. And I think it helps that he's brought so quickly, at least to the readers, into the Howler pack, right? Like they just immediately accept him, and they don't. It's funny to me of them when you meet Sephi, they're all so questioning of her. But it's like, you guys were fine with, they're like, you can't unleash the obsidians. And it's like, you guys were chill with Ragnar over here. And like, I just love how he lends himself to that pack, and especially him and Severo kind of being that buddy buddy. I always think they're really small and they're really big.
I wonder sometimes if some of that Pax and Ragnar relationship, the kind of comedy parts of it that was going.
What did you do to trigger that?
That was amazing. Some of that relationship, the comedy parts of that just got written into Severo and Ragnar. Like that makes a lot of sense to me, right? Yeah. You know, I love the bits where like, you know, Severo comes in and he's, you know, with the eyes and stuff, and Ragnar, who's like supposed to be the big weirdo, is like, I told you it was strange. You know? It's like, I told you it was weird. You shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. You never listened to me.
Yeah. It's great. So like really amazing moments.
Well, yeah, and the fact of like, you know, the kids love Ragnar even more than they love Severo. They're like, Uncle Ragnar, like, and you know, letting him braid his hair and put bows in his beard and all of this, and they always expect candy from him and all of this. Like, he truly is that, like,
and he's
so sweet.
Yeah,
he's big enough to be their jungle gym.
Yeah, he's just literally just crawling, and he's like, okay, sure. Like, he's just that cool cousin who shows up at the family reunions, you know, like that's, I guess, the cool uncle where it's like, oh yeah, you know, you can beat him up, you can do whatever, and he's just like, okay, that's chill. And he reflects with Sephi later on that did the same thing. Of I picked up that he makes the comment about how Sephi used to put bows in his beard and all of this. So it's something that it's like you clearly have. This isn't a new thing for him, but something he wouldn't have been able to do for so long. That it was, you know, he's so close to his sister and they have a big age gap. So it's clear of like, you've always been good with kids, but there is no way Ragnar would have been anywhere near children, or if they were, more as a bodyguard. The gold kids aren't going to be playing with him that capacity. So for him to immediately get to go back into that with Darrow's nephews and nieces and everyone else and Tino's, like, it's just so adorable that he gets that life. He gets that little bit of joy and accepting into all of that, and how he treats Darrow's mom of like just so much respect, and like it's just great.
He's the guy you can bring home to your parents. Like that's the
absolutely,
you know, like he's the friend you can bring. Like, you know, it's like, I think what's also interesting is that like he isn't broken. Like he kind of in many ways should be. Like with all the stuff that he's been put through, that innocence and that kind of playfulness and all those things could, like in other characters or other people, would have been deeply broken and like irreparably so, and he just isn't. Like it's somewhere, it's in him somewhere, and it comes right back. Like it doesn't take work for it to reappear.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and even just the way he tells the story, I love the sea demon part, and especially when Tim Gerard Reynolds is reading it, where it was a sea demon, and the way like Severo has to keep pausing and be like, so the sea, and he's like, the sea demon, and like he won't accept that it's anything else. It was a sea demon. Like, I love that. And they're going on. Like, Darrow's like, what is happening? Like, what are you guys doing?
Is he made to finish the bucket at all?
Not on page.
Okay,
because he is a howler, so we assume he would have done it, but we didn't. Okay. We don't see it.
And they don't. Because I asked this question the other day in the den about Victra, but like same goes for Ragnar. Like we never know their howler names. We never learn.
Right.
That's my big question for Pierce. What are Ragnar and Victra's howler names? I don't accept that they're just Ragnar and Victra.
Oh, yeah.
I don't accept that at all.
That is a great question.
Does Holiday have one? Because
6.
Oh, 6. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if that's her official one, but in Dark Age, Virginia says they call her 6 because she's always got your back.
Yeah, that I knew. I knew that was somewhere, but yeah, I didn't know if it was Howler. Can I just say that I was listening while driving to that? I don't even know if I can talk about it right now. The bucket scene, and I was full gagging. I had to speed through it because luckily that doesn't affect how we talk about death. I was like, I know what happens. I can't do it. Like, I had to, and I've read it so many times, but for whatever reason, It was like 7 a.m. I'm driving to work, and I was like, I cannot listen to this bucket scene. Like,
was it the graphic audio?
No, it's just Tim Reynolds saying the words. I can't even say the words. All it was like grabs the snake and takes a bite. I'm like, oh my. I'm gagging now. Like, I can't.
Let's not go down that road. It's too early in the morning.
It has nothing to do with Ragnar other than him being a part of it. Kidnapping, and such a good scene too. I love of you just get to see them be the 20-year-olds that they are. Like, it's one of those like reminders of, especially when they get caught and Severo and Ragnar are like standing there with everyone being like, it's a cult-like ceremony, or whatever they say.
Yeah.
And like Darrow and Dancer,
cult ritual.
Like, Darrow and Dancer are like, what the fuck, guys? Like, it's just, you absolutely got caught by the parents. Like,
it's really easy to forget that they're 20, isn't it? Like, it's so easy to forget that they're like children.
Yeah.
Like, they're just children playing at war, but it's like real. Fuck, I always forget that. It's really,
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Well, Ragnar wouldn't be. We know he's
older,
older. But
I think he's in his late 30s, early 40s.
Okay, so even then, still not Kavek's age or anything, but
no.
Yeah, they really are, what we all still do, because it's like, we're not wise yet. But I love all of those scenes, especially in Morning Star, where we get him as a group. He's the one who releases Kavek's, I believe, right? Or like it's assumed because Darrow. Darrow says
that's when he oversteps.
That's when he oversteps, but it's that somebody releases, and then later he says something about like, when you let out Kavek's, like, and he's like, well.
Dudes, I'm very concerned about my brain because I only read this like back in March and I'd already forgotten this. This is very
so much. There's so much that happens. It's absolutely fine.
Yeah,
they're dense.
But yeah, he lets out Kavek's because he is kind of the first person who immediately trusts Mustang again. And even when they meet face to face, Darrow talks about like last time they saw each other, she had a gun in his face, like, and he just immediately was like, "Hi, welcome back. We're going on a trip. Let's go on a trip." Right? Like, all right. He's just so trusting of everyone and knows, I think, probably because he spent so much time with. He was with the Grimace, right? He was with the Ash Lord.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
He was. Yeah.
So he's probably seen the terrible golds, and so the fact of the moment Kavek's or Virginia but treats him with any type of respect, he at that moment is probably more all in than some of the other golds who are just used to like backstabbing and probably don't see through some of the signs.
I'm also glad that we never see it blow up in his face, that he like never trusts the wrong person, because I think that would have been a pretty devastating moment for Ragnar, that like judgment that he has leads him astray at some point. I'm glad that never happens, right? Like, it happens to Darrow several times, but like so it's a nice thing. It's like I mean, I think what I will have to say is that like at least Pierce has given him like a really nice couple of years of life, or however, it's not even years, it's like months or whatever it is. Well, it's a year with life.
It would be over
like a year. Yeah.
He gets a year,
right? Like, it gives him this.
So
there's a
without
year
really like
there.
Without like really any particular heartbreak. Like, he just just gets to live his happy little life for a little while. And that's nice. I'm glad that he gets that.
To spend his time as a protector.
Yeah,
absolutely, being the shield of Tinos, which apparently he loves to be called because he sees himself, right? He's no longer that weapon, and now he is a shield of, I can protect these people. I'm not just a war weapon, right? Like, and as you say, like, he gets his happiness. I always get so, it's so sad when he's reunited with Sephi, because you mentioned before we started recording of the moment somebody's happy and the moment someone says like anything along the lines of I love you. I think we made that comment on the Trig episode of like, oh, did you tell somebody you loved them? You're dead, but he does get that reunion with Sephi and gets to find, like this sister that he grew up with and loves, and he does get a lot of joy, which I think is why he's so passionate and about the rising of like I can be who I am with these people, right? I don't have to be a weapon. I can enjoy my life. And that just lends itself to why the rising is so good and how it should be for, in theory, everybody. It's going to work better if people actually want to be there rather than later on we see some people who feel forced to be there. But yeah.
I have a speculative question, which is, had Ragnar lived and had to go through those 10 years of war and see what happens to his people, and kind of, would he have gone the way of Sephi? Would he have kind of been like, I'm a bit disillusioned by this? Or would his loyalty to Darrow and to the Rising have been completely unshakable? I'm really like, I've been wrestling with this and I can't decide.
I'm wondering if the obsidians wouldn't have been used in that to that capacity, because we already know that Ragnar oversteps with Darrow has been pushing back, that I think earlier Ragnar would have said, like, you can use my people, but it has to be in this capacity that we don't really, I don't like, Sephi obviously at some points talks out against Darrow, but they don't have that relationship. Yeah. And they're already seeing her as this like crazed, right? Like, oh, let's take drugs before war and you can't trust her and all of this, that I think
she doesn't talk.
She doesn't talk.
Yeah.
And then when she does, it's so loud. I love that part of like, what does Severo say?
What is output?
What is output? The quiet part is really a misnomer. But I think we would have maybe seen the obsidians used in a different capacity, because Ragnar would have been able to lead and be that bridge in a different way that Darrow didn't truly have with Sephi, which maybe he will with Volga. I don't like theorizing, but in theory, we going into Red God, Volga has the ability to have that, because she's someone who's more on the emotional, love-based side that we see from Ragnar of like, I just want to go to the zoo, right? Like, I just want to live my happy life. She might be the bridge.
Yeah. I mean, I think Red God and Lightbringer especially, like, it sets up a lot of long overdue repair for Darrow, right? Yeah. Like he is now, like, he has a lot of lessons under his belt. And so how he uses those lessons in Red God is going to be really interesting. And that includes, his relationship with Lyria and other Reds. Like, even with Rona, right? Like, he's like constantly protecting her, like, won't let her go out into battle, whatever. You're too small, you're too this, you're too that. And I think he has like a lot of opportunity for that. So I think that relationship with Volga is going to be particularly interesting to navigate for him, especially given that relation. And the Volga doesn't, like, here's what's interesting about Volga. She had no relationship with Ragnar. So it's one of those really weird things, right? Like, I've experienced this where, like, my mom's mom died well before I was born. And, like, I would go see relatives and they would tell me, they're like, oh, you're so much like her. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know what you mean. Right. And, like, Volga's probably going to have a little bit of that, like this weight of this man on her shoulders.
Yeah.
What do you mean I'm like him? What do you mean I have to step up to all these things? Like, I'm my own person and I want to go to the zoo. And, like, I just think that that's going to be a really interesting thing for Darrow to navigate, and to not kind of put his visions of Ragnar onto Sephi, and whether he can do that successfully or not.
Yeah. It'd be very interesting. But yeah, and that's a great point about Volga. Even I was making my notes this morning and I wrote fun Sephi connection, and then it was like 5 minutes later I went, oh yeah, and Volga, right? Because it's like, oh yeah, technically that is, and we'll get into like future impact after, but it's like, right, Volga is a direct echo, so to speak,
blood relative.
Yeah, that I'm like, all right, and Volga. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But that's a great question that you posed there of what would have happened if Ragnar was still around. And I think, I don't know, in my opinion, Darrow would have worked differently with the Obsidians, because I think
Yeah.
Ragnar would have pushed for his people to have the joy that he had and not be seen as a warlord. And as rather than Sephi, I think because she's right into battle and immediately being used of the Valkyrie, or going and being slaughtered alongside Darrow, that we don't. It shows immediately, I think, in the books of how not that they're replaceable, but because Darrow does reflect of like, oh God, we're losing so many of them in this final push. But at the same time, it's like we do immediately see of like, oh, the Obsidians are on our side. Great. We like they can take out the Greys. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there would end up being such a huge difference in both the use of the Obsidians, but also like the course of the book, or like into Iron Gold. Um, you would you wouldn't have Darrow hiding somebody being on his ship. He would be talking to Mustang.
Yeah.
He would be like Ragnar was such a pacifying influence to a point that I think it would have forced Darrow to let Mustang in more rather than just being the force of nature military general that he is.
Yep.
I think it really sets him off course. That death, Ragnar's death, fully sets him off course, right? And like the crap that we go through in Dark Age, like I feel like can be like directly linked back to Ragnar's death. Like just brutal. Like even and that, and then of course like that accidental kill of Wolfgar at the beginning of Iron Age. It's like that just dry. It's almost kind of like metaphorical, right? Like there's a kind of yeah.
Absolutely.
It's rough. It's really rough. Yeah.
I bet in that moment he feels like he's watching his best friend die all over again. Because like he reflects on, Wolfgar was there in the mud in Aegea. He took a razor up just like Ragnar did.
I kind of wish we sat with that moment a little bit longer, like in Darrow's mind.
Yeah.
Like, I think, yeah, I just, I think, I mean, I know why we don't, right? Because again, he's just so deep into like the mission, and they're like that he just doesn't have space to sit with those feelings and those thoughts.
Yeah.
It's very 2026 of me. He doesn't have space to sit with his feelings.
He hasn't gone to therapy for it. Yeah.
No, he really hasn't. No. So I kind of wish we had that a little bit, but I get why we don't.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, should we get into the heartbreaking death itself and how it plays out? The hardest, as
I've got my
you
book
say.
Here.
You've got it there.
Got my book here. I've come prepared.
Yeah. I will say that in my mind, I guess his death does happen in chapter 30, but I had forgot how it plays out, that I was driving to work and was a little bit like 3 minutes early for work. And I was like, perfect. I'm at the end of chapter 29. This is going to perfectly. I'll just sit in the parking lot for those like couple of minutes to finish out the chapter. And I was like, oh shit. Like, this actually all happens in chapter 29 is the like dramatic part. And then I have to like directly walk into work being like, morning, guys. Morning.
Morning with a U.
Yeah, right. I was like, shit. I thought I had buffered this, but I mean, he goes down with such glory, but it's so sad.
Dude, it's
Brian and Abed are in mourning.
Oh my god. So this was the first death that like put me under, that like had me like sobbing. I think I told you, Skipper, I dug up the text messages that I was sending to my friend as it was happening. They're not quite as dramatic as I thought they were, but I will pull them up because I do think that it also will give you an idea of like when I actually did this. Let me find them.
Well,
oh yeah, here we go.
Oh, you got them. Okay.
Yeah, I got them. So I need you to know, this is going to give you an idea of when this was happening. The text message to my friend preceding that is a screenshot of one of the Life of a Showgirl countdowns, and me just saying, "This stupid bar." So like, this is when this was happening. So like, on the one hand, I'm like, Taylor Swift has new music, and on the next, I'm like about to die. So I say, I'm very nervous. Ragnar is facing off Aja. My friend says, I'm sure it will be fine. I say,
and she's read it, right?
Yeah.
That is the meanest false hope.
I say, everything always goes well for them. He says, and then 20 minutes later, he says, everybody getting along now? I say, she's run off. He's dying. Sister and Griffin showed up. Jesus. And he says, see, all worked out fine. And this was my very first declaration of I'm sending him my therapy bills. Yeah. We all go through this. We all threaten to send our therapy bills. This was my first declaration of that. Yeah. Ugly crying.
One day he's going to get one.
Oh man, that one hurts. And then 9 minutes later, I said, would you rather have a small goat appear whenever you say your name or have your socks scream quietly every time you put them on? So clearly, I moved on very quickly.
Right past.
Yeah. So that was my kind of experience of that death. And reading it again this morning, it's kind of stupid because I like reread it just like a couple months ago. But what I didn't catch the first time around, or the second time around, so finally did the third, is the very ending where Sephi goes to put an axe in his hand and he rejects it. Yeah. And then is like, just takes up, I was like, man, what's really, really interesting about that moment is that it echoes straight back later, right? Because he says, I'm no builder. Yeah. You know, I'll wait for you, but I'm no builder. You go into Lightbringer and you have that hollow cube that Severo has sent Volga, and he says he was a builder. And that's that's the moment that you're like, that's the moment that you recognize that, right? Like, so I think it only hit me because I had just read he was a builder. And in that moment where he rejects the axe and takes the snow instead, it was like, fuck. Yeah. What? How are you echoing this like 3 books later? It's yeah. Anyway,
I would love to know the notes that Pierce has, or like what stands out, or if it's sometimes of like, I mean, it's got to be hard if we're so chronically online in this world that I'm sure he sees stuff of like, oh, that resonated with the fans. Like, I wonder if sometimes he's like, oh, I can pull that. That's an easy pullback. But it's funny because my friend is reading. She just finished the first trilogy for the first time. But she doesn't give me context to where she is. She just says, like, the one day she just put Fitchner with an exclamation point. And I was like, did you just discover that Fitchner's Aries? Is Fitchner dead? Like, what? I'm going to need a context.
He just show up
he just
at the gala.
Like, what are we doing here? I know you're on Golden Sun, but that one she sent Ragnar and then a crying face. And I was like, I'm 90% sure I know where you are. So my response to her was, I am no builder, because I was like, this seems like a safe, like if she's for some reason not there and just crying over Ragnar, then this is a safe. But yeah, it was one of those. We ended up talking a little bit more about it after, because she just said like, I'm so heartbroken, and I went, okay, so then I assume he's dead. Yeah. But like context here, can you at least give like a chapter?
Did you use this as like a bridging point to be like, I need you to give me context when you give me these reactions, because like, I don't want to spoil something for you.
Yeah
right. And that was good, because then she is a brand new mother, so I actually used that of like, just so you know, like, this is the hardest death, and there's one in Dark Age that like, take your time going through. And she's like, and I said like, you are a brand new mother, careful when you get to Dark Age. And she's like,
Yeah.
okay. Because I don't like spoiling anything for anyone, but that is the one trigger warning I always feel like is necessary.
Yeah.
Like,
I have a friend who's currently pregnant and has just started Iron Gold. And she was like, I need you to tell me right now if there's any infant deaths. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yep. She's like, just tell me what chapter it is, and then I'll figure it out later who it is and what it is, but I just need to know what pages to skip. And I was like, okay, this we can do this.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it was just the crying for Ragnar, like full face, right? Like a picture of her face, not emoji, just a picture of her face.
Oh.
And I was like, that is what she sent for Ragnar.
Yeah, I thought you meant an emoji.
Emoji. No.
Oh, yeah, I thought you meant emoji too. Oh.
No. Part of me wants to. I'm going to text her and be like, can I use this picture on the podcast? And if she gives permission, it will appear here. You guys, I'll show you guys afterwards. Because it's she might say no, because it's not the most flattering of pictures, because she's crying. But shout out to one of my oldest friends, Leah, for that one. I can't wait until she can actually listen to the podcast for spoiler reasons. But it is, I think, one of the devastating deaths, to get us back on track here.
Yes.
Because you love him so much, and like Pax is hard because he's taken so quickly. You love him, but he's taken quickly.
You don't have that time with him.
Chance to build that.
Ragnar at this point has gotten to the level of like a Severo, right? Like he is along for the ride. You expect that we are having him long term, and then absolutely stolen from us by Aja in kind of a devastating left to suffer. You will not have heard our episode about Trig because we are recording that the same week we're recording this. But we talked about Aja's need to let people suffer, right? Like, she's not fully cutting him down, like not killing him. She's cutting him down and making him bleed, which I think is so much then harder, because Darrow is like, no, it's fine, we can fix him. Like, Darrow goes into immediate denial, being like, no, we just need to get him. We got to get a yellow. We'll get him back. It'll be fine. And like everyone else has to be like, no.
Yeah.
Just mercy kill. Like, he has to be a mercy kill. Like,
is it Darrow's first like truly like I've lost a family member death?
Other than EO.
Other than EO, but like,
yeah, he's probably the closest,
right? Like, because I watched the episode with Lotus about Pax, and like I think she's onto it. Like, it's the first time he is sad about a gold, right? Like, I think that was a really important thing that she made. But this is the first person that he loses in this war, in this struggle, that he like. That is like family, right? Like he loses straight. He feels all of those deaths, right? Like, it's a beautiful thing about Darrow, is like he feels all of that. But like even like Quinn, it's not the same. It just is not the same.
Yeah. Quinn is closer to Roke and Severo. Like, it's not necessarily Darrow.
And to see him not be able to like accept that, I think is like, it's so fucking devastating. Like, yeah.
And then try and work around it in the next, right? He's dealing with his emotions while then having to deal with the Obsidians, and maybe not making some of the best decisions. Like, you can see that Virginia's like, this is not the route, as he's like, no, it's going to be fine, because I think he's grappling with the, like, we have to complete the mission or else Ragnar died for nothing, rather than like Virginia's like, I love when she picks her, what are they called? The handcuffs. And everyone's like, how'd you fucking do that? And she's like, don't worry about it. And like tries to do theirs. And Darrow's like, no, because I think he's grappling. It's so hard for him on that death. And like, this all has to have a purpose. This has to have a meaning. And therefore, I have to succeed with changing these Obsidians over. But I think it's also great of what Ragnar does for that moment, where he knows he has to kill his mom, and Darrow knows that, so it makes it easier later of like, you know what,
Yeah.
like he's already given permission for this. Seffi eventually is who does it, but at least Darrow knows of like, if that is what it comes to, Ragnar would be okay with that, because Ragnar had already decided that that's what would have to happen. But Ragnar gives so much, tries, I think, in that moment. It's his own death, and he's trying to give that closure, right? Like, is the one giving the like very sweet, you know, I am no builder moments, is giving all of that like, you will move on to greater things kind of speech, has, you know, gives all the tools, and Darrow is still so in shock, which like anyone would be, but just absolutely in shock. Yeah.
And it's a beautiful moment too, like that in his dying moments, he's still taking care of other people. Like he's still the shield, he's still the protector. It's like, God damn it. It's rough.
Yeah, I can't even imagine comforting your friend through your own death. Like, woof.
Yeah. Just makes it so hard. And then we get Seffi in that moment too, which is great. I think it's better that she witnesses that, and it wasn't a Darrow shows up and now my brother's dead. It's she understands what Ragnar was working towards and why to trust Darrow, because Ragnar has given those benedictions, for the lack of a better term, of here, like, this is my brother, this is my sister, like, you are now united almost. Like, yeah.
It's interesting as well that he says, you know, I always thought it would be good to have a good death. And this doesn't feel like a good death. And then he has like an amazing death.
He is the best.
You know? He is like right? You're like, it's like, oh man. And then but actually he has like the most incredible death. And you're like, oh.
I was gonna say, does anyone else in the series get to monologue during their death? I feel like everyone else gets like cut down instantly. He's the only one.
I guess like Cassius does a little bit.
Yeah, Cassius
gets to monologue during his death. But and Roke monologues during his death.
I mean,
Roke's never not monologuing.
Yeah. But Ragnar gets that beautiful, you know, speech. Yeah, absolutely a glorious death. And to Aja, like, you weren't coming out of this. We've known this at this point. Everything we've seen from Aja, of Quinn's death to Trigg's death to this, like, we knew the moment she shows up, somebody's gonna die.
I also think that there's a moment a little bit earlier on in that chapter where they're deciding whether to follow them or not. And Darrow says, can you kill Aja? And he just says yes. And Darrow's like, cool, let's go. And I'm like, that's the inexperience of Darrow showing up right there. Like, older Darrow would have gone, no, we don't risk this, right? Like, we do not take this risk. But he's just so young and so inexperienced and so trusting of this like giant of a man that he just buys it. That's the other tragedy too, right? Like, with a little bit few more years of battle on him, he would not have permitted him to go. They would have made a different choice. They wouldn't have followed them, knowing that Aja's there.
Absolutely.
A few more years and he wouldn't have lost.
Yeah, there's also that,
because he would have had Darrow as a razor master, and he would have learned this. And
that's true. Oh god,
that's why I think that Darrow tells Volga that Cassius is going to be her blade master. It's his way of protecting Ragnar's daughter.
God. See, now I just am worried about that. Thanks, Crescent. Just put me in a funk for the rest of the day. Yeah. There was another thing that I had noted. Let me see what it was, because it was like, it was interesting to do, and I think it has something to do with that freedom stuff. Oh,
you have all the highlights in the text. I love it.
Yeah, we're going back to like that freedom moment, right? When he says, so talking about, your father bought me Aja, shamed me, made me his devil, a thing, the child inside fled. We talked about like the kind of child part of him. The hope vanished. I was Ragnar no more. He touches his own chest. But I am Ragnar today, tomorrow, forevermore. I am son of the Spires, brother of Sephi the Quiet, brother of Darrow of Lycos, and Severo Albarca. I am the shield of Tinos. I follow my heart, and when yours beats no more, foul night, I will pull it from your chest and feel it and feed it to the griffin of the. And it's that thing of like,
yeah,
who's he? And he's talking to whom right there?
Talking to Aja.
Aja, yeah. Right, and it's like, and again, it's like that freedom that Darrow doesn't have, that that he has found for himself, and he can speak for his own voice, and he can say like, "This is who I am."
Yeah.
Right. Whereas and Darrow is still kind of grappling with, "Am I Darrow or am I the Reaper?"
Yeah.
And Ragnar's just like, "No, I am Ragnar. That's the end of it. I'm nothing else but Ragnar." Ugh.
Ugh, so
It was-
good. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had actually wanted to touch on that specific passage when we talked about him not being broken in
Yeah.
like, and when he really should be. And I think that's why Ragnar wasn't the one doing those things. It was the monster that he was forced to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's like that. I think it's Aja or somebody who talks about the pinks that he's given after he does like, you know,
because tries to use it
Yeah,
as
it's-
of like,
Yeah.
oh, you enjoyed the pinks and like you didn't he kill a butt? Like there's a whole thing and it's like
yeah,
Yeah,
he
it's
can't
literally
use
like
backgrounds.
2 paragraphs up from that.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's Has the stained convinced you he's tamed? I wonder if he told you how he liked to be rewarded after a fight in the Cicada. After the applause faded and he cleaned blood from his hands, father would send him young pinks to satisfy his animal lusts. How greedy he was with them, how frightened they were of him.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that he did anything else but thought that he was expected to do that. Like, I can't imagine that he was like, "Yep, here come my rewards." Like, that just does not compute to me at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard.
I just think it's such a powerful moment when he declares himself like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. Of Darrow is still grappling with that, and I think continues to grapple with that all until Lightbringer. Like I think we're still in Lightbringer is when he starts to kind of be like, oh, I could be the father and husband and not this like warlord that like. And Severo takes a little bit, but eventually I think we see Severo earlier flip of like, I'm not just the goblin.
Yeah.
I am like I can build this life with Victra. Yeah. Victra, I think, always has known exactly who she is. She's like, I do what I want. That's the great thing about Victra. Yeah. But also when you have the money that Victra has.
Victra out fucking Julii.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
But yeah. Well, shall we talk about his impact? Because I think he has one of the biggest impacts across the whole series.
Oh, absolutely.
How just, how his death impacts Darrow, how it impacts the whole society, this god he's made into later, but also then the true blood relatives and like people just claiming, right? Like just this idea of like I was his father and like finding out I am the daughter and like what those so interesting. What are our thoughts? Where do we want to dive in first?
Man, there is so much around this.
So much.
So much. So I kind of want to touch, for me, what I find really interesting. So there's a thing that I noticed that Pierce does that I fucking love. And it's when it'll be 2 chapters that are maybe not right after another, but 2 chapters that are kind of close together, where he's giving you 2 sides of the same coin. And he does it in Dark Age. Yes, Dark Age. Lyria goes and like frees the girls. She does this tiny little thing and she goes into her patriarchal society and she frees the girls, right? And so like there's that whole thing. And then like 2 or 3 chapters later, you're with Zephy and she's like suffering this coup. Yeah. And there's a gender element to that. So there's like a lot of he uses, I think, the reds and the obsidians is like two sides of the same coin constantly. And I think it's also telling that they're the only two colors that I think the only two colors that have been socially engineered to have a religion.
Yes, I think so.
I think, right? So it's like, and so he's using them to explore these ideas of religion, and I think of like gender, like kind of relations, and right, because the golds are like we're kind of in a post-gender society, I guess, in some way. And so that has to reflect in those two colors. And so when we think about the obsidians and that kind of that all father, the all mother thing, there's a bit later on where, you know, Far is saying, Aaliyah let you down, Sephi let you down. So therefore, the blood of Ragnar and his power must come from his father's side.
Yeah.
And so it uses that like that thing of Ragnar to and that's actually the tragedy of Ragnar is that he's constantly used by different people in different factions to kind of achieve their own means and their ends. So that was a little bit of a meandering thing, but that's kind of a thing that's always playing in my mind, that there's something really interesting that he's playing with there constantly.
Yeah, I always find it fascinating,
100%.
especially the obsidians, but the reds as well, as you say, with the use of religion and myth, and because how else are you going to control who essentially could be more powerful than you? Well, you're going to keep them in the dark. You're going to keep them illiterate because we know that knowledge is power. So don't actually inform them of how the world works properly, which he does with the red, like they do with the reds as well. Sure, they can do math like nobody's business. They're not going to know the full history of things because that's then going to get them to go, oh, well, maybe we should have a workers' strike or whatever. But in both cases, it's, how do we manipulate and get it that they're keeping themselves down because we fed them this information in this capacity? And so then why it's so important for Darrow to kill the god, so to speak. But in doing that, these people are still grasping for anything. And I think that's why the Reds kind of cling to Darrow in such a capacity of like he is a god, which can get disappointing. And we see that in Lyria of like, why has he let me down? But Ragnar really does get then put up on this giant pedestal and have statues and just his name being spoken and all of this because people can cling to that and go, oh, well, your God, so to speak, your living God, or now in death, would have done this. And whether or not he would have, people will always assign an attribute for him. And I don't think Ragnar would have wanted that at all.
I was going to say he would have hated that.
He would have hated it.
Yeah.
Which is where I think we see the difference between Fa and Volga of like Fa is playing into that and so does not have that personality trait, clearly nature versus nurture. It's not there, but Volga also doesn't want that and hates that. And so kind of it's this like, as you said earlier, of like, that's not who I am. All right. Sephi, on the other hand, I think does play into it of a little bit of like, this was my brother. This is where my power almost holds, which is where the coup comes from. Like, it's very interesting of that use and what then, if you believe in gods at some point, I feel like you're ingrained to try and then pin your hopes and dreams on something. Right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Well, let's reach out and let's do that rather than if you're straight facts like the greens and the blues, they're just going to look at what's happening in front of them and go, oh, well, this makes more sense than that. Like,
yeah. But what I also find really interesting is that like that whole thing is like characters for whom that godly thing is shattered become more committed to the cause in some ways, right?
Yeah.
So like when Lyria finally meets Darrow and she's like, he's huge, but he's like also then he sits next to her and he's like pulled in on himself. You know, he suddenly seems a lot smaller and a lot more human to her. And then similarly, again, we go back to that hollow cube that Severo sends to Volga, and he's like, he was not a god. He was kind of not a great man, not a good man for a lot of his life, and he was kind of a shit and all these other things. He's just like a dude. And those lessons, right? Like that's an important moment for Volga to kind of be like, okay, like I don't have to live up to that godliness. I can perhaps carve my own path within the shape of my father. And so they commit to it more once that illusion is broken.
Yep, absolutely. Thoughts, Crescent?
Looking for the quote where Lyria meets Darrow. Yeah, he's not the hugest man I've ever met, but he is the only man I've ever met who makes his own gravity.
Yeah, I love that line.
I grow heavier the closer I come to his orbit. But yeah, what type of enemies must a man fight to need to be built like a war machine and still get so many scars? Yeah, absolutely. Her going from seeing him as this figure to seeing him as a person.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to derail us too much, but I love that Lyria has several of those moments. There's like also in Iron Gold where she sees Victra and Virginia for the first time as just like mothers. It's just like she talks about Virginia just being like normal sized and like just a woman. Anyway, I don't want to derail us, but those Lyria moments to me are so powerful.
Absolutely. Yeah, which is why I think Volga and Lyria become so close so quickly. Of like, this is, I mean, it's funny to say of like, they literally are the children. Like, they're so much younger than the rest, and have that kind of, not innocence of the world, that's not it, but a different naivety of looking at it until their world is kind of opened up, and we get to see those two sides of it working together. And that's, they had these shitty lives and want to make the future better, or at least Lyria does. I think Volga just wants her peace. She's like, let me go to the zoo, man. I just want a season's pass to the zoo. But the two of them work so well as friends because of that. And it almost is, Darrow and Ragnar in a way of, here are red and obsidian coming out of the mines, having to get our world absolutely rocked. And, Volga's had this, I mean, with Ephraim, so a nicer, at least, group that she's been raised with, was not abused in the way Ragnar was. But, right, like, still has this past that it's like, okay, well, how do we carve ourselves forward instead of having to rely on? I love their friendship. It's one of my favorite things. Yeah.
I also think that like Volga represents that thing, like the old adage of like the people that want power the most are the ones that should least have it.
Yeah.
And she's like the flip side of that, like she's like does not want any of this. She's like, I don't want to be a queen. I don't want to deal, like, again, keep going back to the zoo, but it's like, I want my zoo. I don't want to, yeah. I want my friend, and I want to go to the zoo, and that's that. And then she's lumped with this thing. But like grows into it in a really powerful way, right? Like when she breaks the Warsaw, like Far's Warsaw, and knows that, and like instinctually understands the importance and the meaning of that moment and what that shows to Darrow and to everybody else around her. I think is like super, super important. And again, I don't know that she would have necessarily understood that without Severo's hollow cube. That hollow cube is really important.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely. The use of hollow cubes throughout the series, I feel like we need to study of, Darrow giving it to Virginia in what is the worst laid plan of all time. Who thought that was going to work? Who thought that was going to work? But then we get, the use of a hollow cube of Fitchner talking to Severo. This one with Severo to Volga. The hollow cube at I think the first use of the hollow cube is to the betrayal of Cassius. Cassius gets it to
Julian's death.
That's right. Yeah.
And so that just like way of giving messages, and almost in some cases, I'm just thinking of R2D2 with the "You're our last hope" from Princess Leia is kind of the more Severo and Fitchner talking to several kind of capacity of like, you're our last hope. Um, please do this. This is what it is. But yeah, the use of the hollow cube is always really interesting to me. And you never know as the reader what's going to be. You're like, is this going to be good? Is this going to sway the person?
Yeah.
Is this going to like,
yeah.
Are they going to listen? I think every time they seem to take it to heart. I mean, that's why Cassius flips. That's why we get, Severo and Volga kind of having their reawakening, so to speak. But then it backfires on Virginia because that one should not have. Darrow, just so he can say the words. You were there. This is not a like we have something to prove. Darrow.
He's not the smartest man in the world sometimes.
He's just a coward in that moment.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah. I just like the use of it. Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting that Pierce didn't use a hollow cube to have Severo deliver a message from Ares to Darrow in the showers. It's a whisper gem, something that is never used again.
Interesting. I forgot about that.
What is it exactly?
It's like this. It's a little thing that somehow is coded to Darrow's breath.
Yeah, that's right.
Seems safer.
And he breathes on it, and it dissolves into like this cloud of particles that then plays this message, and then I don't know, falls into dust.
So you only get the one.
I love the magic technology. Yeah. It's like there's no AI, but there's magic technology.
Yeah,
it's so good.
That's really cool. I had forgotten about that one too. Yeah. That use of sending the messages in not quite a hollow cube as you said, but same idea. Yeah.
Yeah, and then what else what was the other question you had? Like, the personal stuff, right? Like, how does it impact individual characters, right?
Yeah.
Far is so interesting. Like the Far thing is, it's like Far has probably like hundreds of children, right? Like, and that thing of like that whole line didn't know the next generation down, right? Like Far didn't know Ragnar didn't know Volga, right? And so and yeah, the kind of, again, the falsehood of him using Ragnar's name to kind of uplift himself, but it's just like it's just genetics, and it's like the worst genetics, right? So like how do they? Yeah, sorry, I don't really have like a fully formed thought about this, but I find that really, really interesting, and the way that he uses that name, and Volga rejects it, even though she's probably like not rejects it, but is like a little bit like, I don't want to step up into that.
Yeah.
Even though she has more right to it. That those two sides of that coin again are really interesting to me.
100%. Well, and I caught this time around reading that right before, because you can't talk about the future in these books. That's when you die. But Virginia says of like, hey, we can look up who your father is, because he's like, I don't know who my dad was. And he was like, well, the Board of Quality Control would have that. Like, we can look at, oh, yeah, I'd be interested in that. And then it disappears. So we already, like, he was laying the plans, like, the roots of, like, this could be happening. But I think it's interesting to me that that Atlas immediately went, who is it? Right? Like, went through, and it was like, we know. You have built up this guy. I'm going to find his dad. Right? And I'm going to craft it, or like this is a planned move rather than Volga was out living her best life. Like somewhat, but it's like it didn't matter to her because she wasn't being used in that. Like, I don't think Ephraim had any idea when, taking her to see Sephi and all of this. Like, it's like this, she was not being manipulated into what happened. It's just a like accidental, almost like, hey, you're the chosen one. Sorry, rather than 5. It's like, here. I mean, his whole world is created and fake, as we know, right?
Yeah.
It's not actually that booming voice. but it's, I don't know. It's, at some point, I even was questioning, like, are you actually Ragnar's father, or are we just crafting?
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Like reading
I
through,
kind
you're
of,
like, was this
I
crafted?
kind of,
Was this real? Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past. I wouldn't put it past Atlas to
Atlas.
have. Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
This because it's like there's a few other like parentage questions. I think somebody was speculating in some one of the group chats that I'm in that like maybe Atlas is actually Lysander's father,
That's a big
right? Like
theory.
it's a
Yeah.
big one, right? So you're like there's a lot of parentage questions that are hanging over everyone's heads and lots of things to tie up. Yeah. There's something slightly tragic about Far himself too, in a weird way, right?
Yeah.
Like the manipulations that that he undergoes to become what he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, Fa is a fascinating character. We were originally going to do, I forget who was assigned to who, but Cullen from Sons of Ares was going to do, I think, Fa, and or Atlas, and Chuck was going to do Fa, and we now decided this is a change of plans. We're going to put them into the same episode and record with both Cullen and Chuck of Sons of Ares for that, because I think it's so hard to
So
talk.
deeply intertwined.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think we can talk about Atlas without Fa a little bit, but I don't think you can talk Fa without Atlas, knowing what we know now. And so
Yeah.
we're gonna work the two of them into the same, probably mega episode. That'll be a long one, but that felt important, and that was actually Cullen's idea of like, why wouldn't we just put them together? And I was like, why wouldn't we? Great, let's do it.
Let's do
Good
it.
thought.
Yeah.
We're gonna steal it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fa is so fascinating. I actually loved Fa in Lightbringer when you get the reveal of like he is this
Yeah.
like posh like person.
Isn't he
who's
wearing
just
like a
drinking
silk robe?
tea. Yeah,
Yeah, he's wearing a kimono.
he's just drinking tea, having
Yeah.
intellectual conversations, which again gets back to my comment earlier of you hold back literacy, you hold back all of that, they're not going to question you. Like at this point, Fa is highly educated, like he knows all the things and so knows how to play the game in a capacity.
Yeah.
And so there is still a little bit of manipulation of feels himself an equal to Atlas, and obviously that's not true,
Yeah.
but is playing the game higher than some of the other Obsidians for the sole purpose of he's got the history, he's got the background and the education and all that, so that he can just sit around in a silk kimono and know how great his life is in comparison to what the rest of the Obsidians are having to go through. Yeah.
I also just find like Far's ultimate motivation like kind of gross, right? Like he just like wants to sit on his little island and with his money and just like live his happy little life while the world burns down around him. I'm like, you're a piece of shit. You know?
Yeah.
Like there's like, and he does this with a lot of these like antagonist characters, right? Where like you'll develop some kind of empathy for them because like, oh, you've been manipulated into this. Like Lysander's obviously like the biggest example of this.
Yeah.
But he does it with Fa too. You're like, oh man, you've been used by Atlas, and then it's like, no, I just want to go sit on my island and like drink pina coladas, and the rest of you can all burn. I'm like, nope, you can burn too. Like, you can go burn along with everybody else. So I was like, that was the flip for me. I was like, yeah, I hope you die.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. Yeah, like I hated him during Dark Age. But the moment we get that, like, oh, this is really interesting. But then it's, yeah, you're like, no, you're grimy. And you actually think that Atlas is your friend when if he was, he'd be more on the side of the rising than, I don't know. I feel like Atlas is just out for himself. He's playing all the sides.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't give a shit about Lysander, whether or not he's the father. Like, he's just out here to play all the sides. His poor son, right? Because Ajax is his son, and he's like,
yeah, that's right,
garbage.
Yeah.
Well, they talk about when they're having this discussion with his kin shield that he shows more interest and attention to every single Obsidian at that table than he ever did to Ajax.
Poor Ajax.
Yeah.
just abused.
I feel
over and over
Ajax is
again.
the only one of the like society goals that I actually feel bad for. That's my hot take.
Yeah, because no one really
yeah.
loves him.
Everybody's
No one
By
using him
Atalant- he's
because
groomed by Atalantia.
yeah.
His father doesn't like him. Where's his mom? Who is his mom?
It's
Oh,
Aja.
you're right, Aja. Oh God.
Yeah.
Right, because it's like full incest, the
Yeah.
Atalantia thing. Yep.
Yeah.
Anti-Lantia is what
Anti-Lantia, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I'm having a moment here. Yeah, just grimy. But
I guess my one last thing that I keep thinking about is like, had, again, this is to speculate, like, had Ragnar lived, would he have sought out his children, right? Because I think he's also probably fathered multiple. Do we know that?
So.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then what his relationship with Volga would have been like, and what, like, how much would he have tried to protect her from the horrors, and just be like, no, you can go to the zoo, you don't have to deal with any of this, I'm just gonna, or whether like the reality of what was going on and their relationship would have been any different. I don't know. These speculative games are...
It is fun. I can see it being almost how Darrow treats Rona, of the like, you're not coming to war with us. Stop sneaking. Like, I think Volga and Rona would have grown up together being like BFF of like, our dads won't let us play war. Or like uncle, I guess. But like the two of them together would be like on the like sneaking to. Oh my God, can you imagine Volga trying to sneak onto his ship?
Fun.
But at the same time, I don't
very
think
hiding behind a bush.
Yes, but at the same time, I almost think that she goes along with the Obsidian women that we don't really see, or not the Obsidian women. Sorry, she is Obsidian. The Telemanis, like we know Thraxa has two sisters that have clearly don't have an interest in war, so they're not hanging out with Thraxa. They're one's doing like data entry basically for Kavix. We don't even know the other one's name. Where it's like, okay, you don't, this isn't what you want to do. You can hang out over there. Like I can see Volga being like, I just want to hang out with Sophocles all day, and they're like, all right, then you're hanging out with Sophocles all day.
You and Lyria can hang out with Sophocles.
Yeah, that would be exactly how they end up meeting Lyria, would be, right? Like the two of them in the garden. Lyria is responsible for Sophocles, but Volga's just there being like, I love him. Can I hug him?
All of Volga's paths lead back to Lyria. That's our all of Volga's like narrative paths.
They're meant to be together.
They are meant to be together. Yeah.
But I think you're right that I don't think Ragnar would force his daughter to actually participate in the war. He would, I think she might, and probably what we'll see in Lightbringer is her kind of taking a stand and saying like, okay, this is the way forward. And so I think part of Volga, as innocent and as amazing as she is, would participate in the war in some capacity.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's because Ragnar forced her to be there. It would be on her own volition, in the same way Rona is, of like, Darrow's not telling Rona. In fact, Darrow's like, can you not sneak onto my ship? Can you stay here? And she's like, no. I gotta chase my gold boyfriend over here. Let's go after Alex.
That great tragedy. That great tragedy.
So sad. I know. Is it time for the data talking about what's the other daughter's? I never remember the Telemenos daughter's name. Zana. Give us our Zana data points of how many uses of the name Ragnar.
Okay, give me a second here.
I'm gonna estimate a lot in Lightbringer. That's my guess. Mm-hmm. And probably, I think a lot overall.
In Golden Sun, we have 136.
Okay.
In Morning Star, we have 350. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, you got to take
So
out the gold ones.
346. Yeah, I gotta take out the iron gold.
And so a
Excellent.
lot of that is attributed dialogue, but also he dies halfway through the book. So a lot of that will be reflection. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically 100 times after his death.
Okay. Okay. So
oh, we're still in Morningstar. Okay. Okay.
Morningstar, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
still Morningstar, yeah. I wanted to see the difference between pre and post death.
Yeah.
So yeah. About 250 before and about 100 after.
That's huge. 100 after your death, like that's way higher than even I think EO had. In Red Rising, not in the whole series, obviously. Actually, I have her.
Iron Gold, we have Ragnar 29 times.
Okay. I can see that. Like, we're going to talk about him a little bit. Yeah, but we're not getting into the, like, feels that we do in Dark Age when we get, like, the Sephi parts and all of that.
We're setting up a lot of stuff in Iron Gold. We're not reflecting. We're setting up.
Yeah.
40 in Dark Age.
40 in Dark Age. Okay. Yep.
Still quite a few.
Oh, yeah. I almost expected higher because...
well...
Okay. What are we getting at?
It's 62 in Lightbringer.
Yeah, that feels right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we got to convince Volga. We're talking Fa.
Yeah.
We've got the repercussions of... I mean, and I always keep saying that Lightbringer is the most reflective, that Darrow and Severo constantly in Lightbringer are like, what? Who did we lose? Let's revisit our past. The two of them are just constantly... So that makes sense of Lightbringer being 62. Yeah. But, so he is still highly spoken about.
Yeah.
I was trying to see if I had my EO numbers, and for some reason I use one document for all of this. I think it's that our numbers for EO were not put into this document. It's called the death document.
I love that.
Yeah. It's all my talking
How many pages is it?
At the moment, 7, but there is definitely stuff that's missing of, like, I had notes and other places that I just didn't bring over. So I'm just going to quickly pull up the EO because I think that 62 in Lightbringer absolutely eclipses EO, who in theory is the, like, most impactful, so to speak.
We barely get mention of him.
In the book they die, you mean? Are you talking?
No.
Or just overall?
In Lightbringer. Oh, I was just talking reflective in Lightbringer. EO's name in Lightbringer.
Oh, yeah. Give me a second here.
Oh, yeah. You can easily pull that up rather than I'm trying to go through.
By the time we get to Lightbringer, she's like a shadow, I feel like.
Exactly. She's like whispered in the background.
Yeah. Because at that point, it's not even that... you know, in the first trilogy and in those first few books, it's like she is the thing that's guiding it all, right? And then after 12 years of war, everyone's got their own grievances and their own with the Republic and in general. And at that point, like, you know, it's not that she's forgotten; it's that, like, well, hold on a second, how do we fix this mess that we've made? And that's not on EO.
Yeah.
10 for EO in Lightbringer.
How much?
10.
Oh, yeah. And then Ragnar is 62.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. But yeah,
which
does
is fine.
Make sense, especially because whether we are in the storylines of this Lightbringer truly is the reflection of Ragnar, right? Like, we are getting his family members. Dark Age a little bit, and that makes sense that it's 40 because we get, like, Sephi being his sister. We're going to get some reflection there, but she's kind of her own person in this rather than Fa and Volga really are in his echo. They're sucked into his world rather than Sephi had the ability to carve her own path a little bit more than what's happening with those two. So very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Any other
Cool.
Thoughts on the big man? No.
Rip.
Yeah.
No, other than I miss him. I just miss him. It's really sad.
Yep.
It's very sad. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that I'm really looking forward to seeing what Volga grows into. Like, that's one of the most interesting things to me going into Red God.
Yeah.
Seeing her character development. And there's, I talk about this all the time, and I think lots of fans do, but like, I know everybody talks about how great Pierce is at plotting, how great he is at the battle scenes, but to me, his best writing comes in those one-on-one conversations.
Yeah.
And I just kind of can't wait to see Volga have a one-on-one conversation with like Darrow or Mustang or someone like that I think would be like, I would actually really like to see those two women talk. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. Volga and Mustang's gonna just parent the shit out of
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah.
Gonna be like, sorry that Victra did not do this. Let me be the one to like just gentle parent you. Right? Like it's just gonna be oh my god. Volga with the telemanasis. That's all she needs in life. She just needs Kavix to hug her
therapy.
And go here.
Oh my god.
Thraxa will sneak jelly beans so that Kavix thinks it's magic. And I bet you Volga will buy into the magic of the jelly beans. Like,
yeah, she will.
Thraxa will be like 100%. Hiding the jelly beans as she does to like make her dad happy. And Volga will also be like, where did this come from? I did not put that there. Like, where? Oh my god. This is magic. Like Volga and Kavix, I need the two of them. I need that.
Among all the pain that we're certain to receive, I think that will be a nice little salve. I have promised something to myself, and that is that if anything happens to somebody whose last name is either Telemanis or Barca, which it will, because there's no way we get through Red God without that, I will haunt Pierce for the rest of eternity. Like, whatever, he'll have a peaceful, like, mortal coil life. Like, I'm gonna leave him alone. But when I die, whatever energy I turn into will haunt his energy until the heat death of the universe. Like, that's my promise to him.
Yeah.
He won't know. He won't feel it until he's dead.
Perfect.
And I'm dead.
I do think those two houses have too much trauma. I also don't think Kavix can be kidnapped again.
No.
He's on like round 10 of beat. Like we gotta drop that pot point.
Yeah.
And the two, the Barcas and the Telemanises have already had, like, I don't think we can lose Thraxa. Like, I almost think we can't lose all of those kids. We can't lose.
Yeah.
Unless she comes out of the hat. Unless she comes out of
fucking hat.
Fucking hat, man.
He has said that at least the only person creature, human, not human, thing that for sure we can know makes it out alive is at least a clone of Sophocles. Yeah. Like it might not be Sophocles, it could be a clone. But I at least appreciate that he's gone there and gone, don't worry, I don't kill the dog, so to speak. Right? Like
I was planning a Sophocles tattoo anyway, and after that thing I was like, okay, we're good. I feel good about my choices.
Yeah. So that gives me faith that, he doesn't just explode the entire Telemanis family and be like, oh, no more DNA for Sophocles. Like someone has to be there to be the one who clones Sophocles.
That's true. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's true.
Liago's got it.
Yeah. Well, still, someone has to tell him, okay, bring back the fox. So
yeah. I feel like there's got to be like a contingency plan for him. It's like, I haven't seen Sophocles in 3 years. I better make a new one.
Yeah, right. How quickly are we reproducing these foxes? Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sped run this series in order to finish in time, which I greatly appreciate. We were watching closely. Oh my god.
Holy shit.
There was no way I would have.
Yeah. I'm going to post that picture when we put this up because this is crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's not all for you guys, to be fair. Like there's a lot of other stuff going on in here. Yeah.
But still. the commitment. I greatly appreciate it.
That is well tabbed. That looks like Estrella's books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, does she do the same?
Yeah.
Nice.
I think like these are the books I actually want signed. Like I think people always want their special edition signed, but like these are my loved, and these will be the ones that will be read and reread and fall apart.
Yeah.
They're the ones I actually want signed.
And I think Pierce probably appreciates signing ones like that. Not that he doesn't not appreciate signing Eddie, right? Like he assigns.
Yeah, I get that.
He is so good at signings, but I think when the books have proper meanings, like I think authors love when you bring out and you're like, sorry, like this was damaged in this way or this is falling apart. They're probably like, no, that is a well-loved book. That is what I want to see. That proves to me that like you used the book how it should be used, right? You loved it, which is great. So
I have a specific page in Golden Sun I want him to sign. So next time we're bringing this.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
awesome.
Anyway,
right, well, thank you for
having
joining
me.
us. Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
You're invited back
fantastic.
anytime.
Thanks for getting me out of bed at 6:45 in the morning.
Enjoy the rest of your day. I only got 4 hours sleep last night, so I'm going to go nap.
I'm going to go sailing. And if you don't see it was supposed to pour rain, and the sun right now is doing beautiful things. So this is why we're recording so early, is because I was like, I got to be on the boat at 11:30, which means I leave my house at 11. So I'm going to go drink Aperol Spritz on a boat all day.
Dude,
it's gonna be great.
Nice. I gotta come back to Toronto sometime soon. Or have I just doxed you?
No, everyone knows in Toronto area.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I gotta come back and go to sailing. That'll be a fun thing to do.
Absolutely. Well, thanks everybody for listening. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you next week. Next week is Roke. I was like, what's happening next week? We get Backstitch / Hearthweaver / Caroline Crunchy, all the names, with Roke, talking the death of Roke. So it'll be a completely different thing than this one.
Yep. Totally different vibe.
Yeah.
Less sad.
Yeah.
Less sad.
Less sad. All right. Bye.
See you later, guys.